Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to Occult Cat TV. I'm your host, O'Shea. As well, you can call me Atanu, for this is my magical name. Occult Cat TV, the channel you know you love. So, with that, you guys, also, first off, stay hydrated, grab your water. We're about to get into a nice story. We're about to immerse ourselves into this vision, into this video. For as we are about to enter into the gates of the subconscious mind, understanding the subconscious mind as well. So, as we arrive at the gates of the subconscious mind, a being in which protects the gates of the subconscious, even back to that of the Egyptian times, is Leviathan, Lord Leviathan. And I just so happen to be working with Leviathan, just communing with him, asking him a few questions about the subconscious and entering into the subconscious. Now, for myself, I've already been on many journeys. This is integrated within myself, but I was journaling and just asking questions on how someone can do this, as well as I was reaffirming my own things that I've been through, what I have seen myself as I started to enter into the subconscious. So when we're first getting into magic, witchcraft, manifestation, meditation, we must first learn to discipline, or rather still, our mind. And as we understand how to not control, not control our mind, but rather learning to flow with it. So it's in this way that as we start to become more disciplined, we are learning how to access the different areas or as well aspects of our mind. Some people call this astral projection, some people call this remote viewing the self, but really it's just walking to the gates of our subconscious mind. Now, I remember there's journeys that I took, that I had with Lord Ganesha, Lord Shiva, and we would go within the self. I would go within myself to know thyself, for the kingdom is within. It is about knowing not this external realm, not this external world, but rather knowing thyself, knowing who you are. Now, when I say to go within, where do you feel that? Now, as I started to go within myself, I would always go in through the heart. Now it's more, I imagine, it's more going into the mind and then entering into the subconscious realm. But the way in which I was brought into this was first, so let's just calm our minds, center. And as we do, we can chant these mantras. Om Gam Ganapate Namo Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namo Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So as we're chanting this, what starts to happen is our ego starts to dissolve. It just starts to fade. And as the ego fades, for it is the ego that is the gatekeeper to the subconscious mind. So if we wish to access the subconscious mind, the aspect of ourself that is guiding this, that of the ego mind wants to attach. It wants to say, no, there's not more than me. I am the only thing. Focus on me. Focus, focus, focus. And that's also, if you are new to meditation, it would be the ego that wouldn't allow you to meditate. For those of you that have been on this journey, that are maybe new to meditation in this way, what do I mean by that? Well, the ego is a ball and chain to this body. So when we are born, we have all these attachments created to our ego. Our mom or someone names us, such as my name is O'Shea, an aspect of my ego. I I went to this school. I worked at this job, and I love these things. I did these things, and now I'm where I'm at. So the ego will attach to the immediate surroundings and how it's been programmed. So what we're doing in this instance, when we are chanting mantras, when we are going into meditation, we are dissolving the ego through stilling our mind, and then as well through focusing on our breath. In Buddhism, they call this the monkey mind. That it's the mind that's always going everywhere. That when you're staying up long or late nights, when you know you need to go to bed early, and you're like, oh, I can't sleep. It's not you that can't sleep. It's the ego wanting to be active, wanting to be aware. You haven't coaxed the ego. You haven't gotten it to dissolve. What came to my mind was the word drown. And as you start to work with the ego, as you start to work on silencing the mind, dissolving your awareness through, again, meditation, mantras, ritual, things of this nature, we are then brought to the gatekeeper, to the doorway of our mind. So the ego. Now the ego will depend how much you've dissolved. Your ego will depend how easily you will slide into the subconscious mind. This is also a preliminary, a prerequisite to ceremonial magic, which, if you guys want to get a more in-depth video such as this but catered towards more magic and manifestation, I will be uploading an in-depth video right after this video is released. Because the subconscious mind has a lot to do with ceremonial magic and being able to access that. So I'll be giving you the blueprint and foundation in that video. So to continue, that as a foundation, as we start to understand the ego's tricks, you could say, because it's not really trying to fight yourself. Oh, my ego's keeping me away. The ego is the illusory aspect of yourself that just, it doesn't know. You know. You are a being of infinite knowing, of infinite and limitless progression. You can achieve anything that you put your mind to, right? Mind over matter. The ego is a physical aspect of ourself. It's attached to the body. And the thing is, we know that one day we will die, right? That's just, well, not to everyone it's a fact, right? But it's an aspect of reality. It's an aspect of life. So it's that as you are trying to understand the ego, the ego doesn't want to die. That's the thing that truly dies. But when you die to this self, this false self, and I say false self because it's not the persona. The persona is your true awareness of who you are. Now the ego programs the persona. So if you're allowing yourself to be led by your ego, that's why things aren't working out. That's why you're not being led to where you desire. But as you start to silence that of the monkey mind, and you start to listen to infinite awareness, infinite intelligence, creator, the source, when you go within your own source and you know who you are, that's actually what then shows the ego. So the ego's dissolved as a glass half full. So we're dissolving our ego to remove the programming that we don't want. It's not that the ego is bad. It's not that it's trying to keep you away from yourself? No, it's just been programmed. It doesn't know. So as you uncover, or rather go within, and you start to silence the ego turns from the ego awareness into what is it? Into the observer. And then as you are more now, just like in video games, right? That the what do they call it? Like the not 360 view, but when you have that awareness over yourself and you're playing the game, you're more of a observer now. So that's actually where you're first taken out of the ego. And I remember myself actually quite vividly when this first happened. I was meditating for like weeks, maybe even a month, and it was tricky for me to meditate in the beginning. I always like was in my mind. I was always at the forefront of my mind, like in my ego. Now, things would happen around me and I understood I was not my ego, but I remember that specific moment. I was actually meditating behind my couch, and I was just sitting there, and then my mind fully like comes out of myself, and I'm just observing my own awareness as the self in which as the being in which I am. And it's in these moments that's when information starts to flood your mind, these downloads, these knowings. Because once you can remove or dissolve the ego, then you can start to, you could say, not refill it, but then we go within ourselves to find the truth of who we are. And then it's from finding those truths that then we reprogram the ego. Rather, it's observing the truths. As you observe the truths, so does your ego. And then as you gain more and more truths, you're actually able to observe, or rather go within yourself, and you start to journey. And from journeying, you start to know more and more of who you are, being able to take your ego into that realm, or bring that realm to you and then observe the realm. So this is where we would then be getting into ceremonial magic, where you're more projecting what you are holographically seeing in your mind's eye, in your imagination, and from understanding this imagination, you can see it outside of you. You can through going within your mind, you can then project it externally. Or as well, you can also go within it and then just fully immerse yourself into it. At the end of the day, these are the same techniques, just some people are better at different ones. If you're more of a dreamer, someone that's using your subconscious, or if you're a dreamer, you would be better at going into yourself. So laying down or going into a meditation pose like lotus, and then just sitting there or laying there, and then taking a few breaths, and then calming and stilling your mind, and then go into the subconscious, slip into the subconscious, and then you can start to reaffirm and as well reevaluate your body, how you're feeling as well. That's what's so powerful, because when you are doing Reiki, or for myself, I do psychic surgery, Reiki, as well as list of so many different services. But when I'm doing astral or psychic surgery on myself, I'm sliding into my body to then see what aspect there is imbalance. And it's from going within my body and then seeing which aspect I can then go into that aspect. And usually, so a lot of people want to think that psychic surgery is immense healing and energy, and it is. It is. There's a lot of energy, there's a lot of frequency. It's very high frequency to do those things. And it's more like, let's say like with my right shoulder, right? Maybe I wasn't sleeping on it the best. But now there's a reason why it might feel a dis-ease, at an imbalance. And it's by going within to that aspect of myself through the subconscious, I can actually start to mentally reevaluate, oh, maybe I went through this trauma, I fell on this day, and then you go deeper and deeper into it. And it's not about the physical emanation of the wound, it's about the subconscious programming, the subconscious pain that led to the emotional, um, uh, programming, you could say. And this is also where we are getting into trauma work. So if your body's been traumatized, it's through going through the subconscious mind that we can start to reaffirm this healing and bring ourselves back into being, back into awareness, back into homeostasis, where we are feeling good, where we are feeling unified and one with our self and true core essence. This is also why we are going through the subconscious mind, in order to better understand our source of who we are. You're not going to find yourself looking in the ego, looking towards the external world, for you are within. Your truths lie within yourself. You incarnated into this body, into this vessel. Everyone wants a Lamborghini and a nice high-end car or a beautiful girlfriend, but the thing is, what will make you feel good is feeling good, is discovering yourself, knowing thyself, knowing who you are, and as well what you're meant to achieve. All of this is going to be done through going within yourself and starting to reprogram your life. If you're poor or broke, or you feel this way, you don't feel good, you must go within yourself and discover, or why don't I feel so good? Right? And the more that you go within and you ask yourself these questions, you'll be given answers. Then it's merely about doing the work and working on yourself. And that's honestly the funnest thing in life, is self-mastery. Finding out more and more about yourself, because at some point you enter into the infinite awareness of the all. And as you do, you enter into this limitless expansion of the self, where every day is beautiful, every day is amazing and wonderful, because you deal with the first thing that matters. If you're trying to plant seeds in soil that is faulty, that has no nutrients, you're not going to get a prosperous harvest. You're not going to be able to reap the seeds in which you've sown, because the seeds have not grown. But as you go within your mind and you start to reprogram the subconscious mind, this is actually what will show you who you truly are. And as you create this fertile soil, that I am prosperous, I am abundant, I am flowing with the all and the universe, that I have a destiny and I should walk the path of my destiny. And you know what? Today, maybe it wasn't the best day, but I'll do better. I should mentally reevaluate myself and how I feel, and just continue to look within yourself. Continue to know thyself and know who you are, and remember that when you go within through the gates of the subconscious mind, yes, everyone remembers the Buddhist tenet of to look at yourself. But the thing is, people forget. They don't know that when you're just looking at yourself and you're going within, it can be terrible, right? What you discover can be pretty brutal, especially if you've been through trauma. So that's the thing is, yes, everyone looks at the tenet of you must look at yourself and uncover yourself and know thyself. But remember to love yourself. Remember to love yourself. Because that's what will matter the most, is having this self-love for yourself. Cultivate this self-love, this good feeling, and then go within. Or cultivate it as you are going within. Because you must love what you are observing and looking at, because if you are not loving yourself, but looking at yourself in all the Maybe you've been through trauma, breakups, pain, someone around you died. There's these things that might be stagnating in your energy, and you might get frustrated when these things come up and when you face and encounter them. But if you can love yourself to be like, wow, like I am so powerful that I went through that experience. And you can, such as if you were a child when you endured trauma, if you can go to your inner child and love them, show them the love that they weren't given in that moment, and allow yourself to just sit and be with that child, because that child is you, and you deserve love, especially for what you've been through. So love yourself, love your inner child, love all aspects of yourself as you are on this journey of self-discovery, because it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay what you've been through. We have all been through pain. We have all been through trauma, and anybody that, oh, I don't cry, I haven't been like anybody like that, they're lying. And they're probably suffering more than you. So it's about embracing that love and loving yourself, you guys. Love yourself. So it is then through going through the gates of the subconscious mind, quieting the ego, we are then able to bypass the ego to go into the subconscious to then reevaluate, to better understand who we are. Usually things will, depending on how well your psychic abilities are, things will come up in your mind to show you different signs and as well synchronicities. Now, the coolest thing is that once you do the work, your subconscious mind is linked with your conscious mind, so it understands now what you're trying to do. So this is actually when manifestation becomes effortless, life becomes the ritual. The ritual is all around you, and then you are merely doing ritual or meditating to amplify what is already happening. Such as you will find synchronicities, signs and synchronicities within, but you will also find them as within, so without. So it's just like when you see that crow flying overhead, or you see a raven, or I just saw some hawks. Like, okay, so this is a cool one. I was working with Lord Horus, and I was just journaling, and now I drew his sigil. And then I was telling him, like, hey, show me a sign you're there. And then I start walking back to my place. I literally look up at the sky and I see 3 hawks. I see 3 hawks. And they literally, one of them caw, like, or they did the caw, and they just kept cawing as I even recorded it on my phone. So do you guys see that that's magic? When you say something, when you're journaling, when you're saying something to yourself, like, hey, universe, source, show me a message. When you can then, in real time, just see the message at some point. It might come immediate, it might come later on. But when you see the message, that's affirming that which you are thinking is true. That which you are thinking is real. And as within, so without. All is mind and the universe is mental. So that which you think, you are creating into your life. The reason why we go into our subconscious and delete this old programming is so that we can then reprogram it or infect the ego with our soul, with the source and our consciousness, where then we are commanding our consciousness. We are commanding our mind. It's no longer just reactory, because that's what the ego is. So with that, you guys, I feel that this was a very prosperous video. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like, because it is free, as well subscribe. Know you get energetic benefits from subscribing, because this was a powerful video on the subconscious mind, understanding the subconscious and magic, as well as just life and meditation. So with that, you guys, that's going to be the video. My name is O'Shea as well. You can call me Atanu. And if you would like to take this gnosis, this exclusive gnosis you're not going to find anywhere else, if you would like to take it to the next level, I highly invite you to actually go check out my Patreon. On Patreon, this is where I'm teaching people as well, doing rituals and expressing the deeper aspects of my magic path that I feel that I feel is my own, right? So that's for those that wish to be a part of that, that wish to even get to know me. We have the 4th tier ritual at the end of this month. That is the fate and destiny source alignment and as well soul attunement. That will be performed at the end of this month till the 2nd. We are heading into a new year, so this year's ritual, the end of this year's ritual, is going to be powerful, you guys, because it is on New Year's Eve into New Year's and the new year. On top of that, there's also the 5th tier of the Patreon, which is Coven of the Sacred Torch. So this is where, in a sense, I'm teaching you guys, rather unveiling to you, a path in magic in which I was given by the goddess Hecate. She told me to go through the Thoth and as well the tunnels of Set. So to go through the Kabbalistic tree and then start to teach people of the Kabbalistic tree, help them to either initiate, if this is what is meant for them, help them to better understand it, and as well guide them. For there's not many that are on this path guiding people through the Thoth, or coming on here being you could say a mentor or a guide. And this is actually what I provide you guys. This is my life. This is my path. Walking this path, working with the deities. And on top of that, I also have my services. If you are looking for a magic mentor, or you could say a magic coach, if you favor this video, I teach a lot of things like this in my mentorship sessions. I teach magic, witchcraft, working with deities, understanding really the foundation of magic and manifestation, and then taking that into deity work. And then from that, you are learning how to create the life in which you most desire. And on top of that, I also have consultations, and then as well fate and destiny readings. So other than that, you guys, that is the video. I hope you have a loving, prosperous, and as well flourishing day wherever you are. And as well, again, my name is O'Shea. What's up, you guys? As well, you can call me Atanu, for this is Occult Cat TV, the channel you know you love. So with that, you guys, peace, and as well, namaste. You guys got this. You guys got this. Stay studying, stay meditating, stay elevating, and stay progressing, and then most importantly, know thyself. You guys, know thyself. You got this.